Hello, everyone! Blue Star Saber here once again to do another Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett Episode 2 review. The Tribes of Tatooine, in which a much more long episode, and I'll definitely say beforehand that it's a much bigger improvement from the last one, as we begin where the last episode kind of left off a bit. Let's see, well, technically not really, but little time seems to pass as Fennec Shan has brought the assassin she has captured to Boba Fett, in which it's revealed from, I believe, the droid AD-8 that this man is a member of the Order of the Nightwind, an assassin's group that won't talk, so there's no point in trying to get him to talk and, I guess, suggest the Gamorrean guards to kill him and all that stuff. But Boba tricks him into thinking the Jabba's Rancor is still here, and he ends up revealing that the mayor sent, him to kill Boba Fett. So they decide to go visit the mayor, in which when they first get there, a sort of clerk there, says, do you have a meeting and all that stuff? But then the Twi'lek from last time tries to, get Boba Fett to leave and all that stuff. But Boba decides to go greet the the mayor, in which we learn it's an Ithorian called Mook Sanaz, who Boba Fett tries to get interrogation about the assassin he hired, but the mayor just has the assassin shot and then claim it off more of Boba Fett just claiming for a ward thing, though Boba says that he's now the daimyo of Tatooine and all that stuff, so if he's going to try and kill him, not to mess with him. However, the mayor denies any involvement, and that this is like Hutt space. As they're not allowed to as the Nightwinds are not allowed to operate outside of Hutt space and all that stuff, and tries to infer that. So you asking, well, trying to infer if Boba really has inherited the title of from daimyo from Jabba and all that stuff. But anyway, the mayor. Boba Fett gives a bit of a warning that the mayor serves Tatooine along as he decides, but the mayor still denies that he has no motive for killing Fett. And all that stuff, but gives Fett a little bit of advice besides giving him a bit of money for a tip for the reward for the assassin, apparently, but saying that this is his his payments thing, saying that it's very difficult to run a family crime organization, and gives them the advice to go to Garsa Phipp's sanctuary from where they were last time, in which Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, and the Gamorreans go to, in which she is a bit panic-stricken at first, but reveals to Boba Fett thinks that perhaps she has some involvement with the assassination, but she ends up revealing that Jabba's twin cousins have come to visit, and we see from outside a green and a sort of purple-like hut. I'm not sure if this means that all huts are purple or not, because we do know that Jabba's uncle Seer the Hutt was also purple, but yeah. Anyway, the Wookiee bounty hunter, which I should probably mention there was some Troldarians along the way and all that stuff. Let's see, that here, but with besides the hut, along with the huts is the Black Wookiee known as Black Kursatan, who many might remember from many of the now, Marvel's canon Star Wars comics, first appearing in the Darth Vader issue series, in which I believe Darth Vader hired, the Wookiee to, I think, help track down Luke Skywalker and his friends, and was also used by Dr. Alpha to help steal some credits. And I believe, this bounty hunter has also had other appearances, but that's mostly where I know him from, and has clashed with Chewbacca quite a few times from my recalling. In the Star Wars comics, but yeah. So this, I believe, is his first live-action appearance, and appears to be going to be one of Boba Fett's opponents during this time, as the Hutts try to claim Tatooine, but Boba Fett says that this territory is his now, and warns them to get lost and all that stuff, or he will kill them. The sister is a bit more impatient, but the brother is a bit more calm of the two Hutts, so they leave, but I think that with warnings that they will be back to claim what's theirs. So let's see. Boba Fett thinks the matter is settled for now, but is preparing for later. But anyway, Boba Fett is back into his bacta tank, and this is where we're back to the flashbacks with the remainder of the episode, and where we see Boba Fett learning to train under those hutties and sticks from that female hut. I think is the wife of the chieftain, possibly, or at least the second strongest fighter and all that stuff. Let's see, while Boba Fett is training, let's see, they managed to catch this little alien thing. I think it's a massive find some prey in the desert. But yeah, but while they're eating that, let's see, this sort of speed train comes along, starts shooting, and we see that it's the Pikes, and they're killing some of the huts, which is resulting in some of the huts having to, sorry, not the huts, I mean the Sand People, Tusken Raiders, sorry, as they sort of burn their dead on that stuff. Anyway, Boba ends up noticing those sneaky speed biker gangers from last episode heading to like some cantina. So Boba tries to offer the chieftain to try and stop the speed train, and asks him to take if he can have a rifle and a stick to go and carry out that task. In which Boba Fett ends up finding like the speed biker gang after they're harassing a couple in a sort of like bar and all that stuff. Knocks them out, kills them, if you will, and takes their speed bikers and offers them to the Tusken Raiders, who at first try to destroy them, but instead he says, I'll teach you how to, pilot these in order to stop the train. And we get a montage of Boba Fett teaching them with quite a few muck-ups and all that stuff. And, at the same time being trained by the Tusken Raiders, top warrior, if you will, or chiefess. Well, also one shot as Boba Fett teaching the young Tusken how to use like the sort of like this mirror object with the sunlight to give like a warning of when the train's coming. Eventually, they prepare and they're more organized and start killing more of the Pikes from last time, while Boba leads a group of 10 Tuskens to try and board the train. A bit of casualties getting on there. A few of them get, shot before they even land. Some get pushed off before as they jump on the train. But Boba and eventually a few managed to get on, while some others, thanks to like the help of the little Tusken kid, began shooting them throughout their sort of like windows and all that stuff, pulling them out, shooting, and eventually with the help of like the female Tusken warrior, more of them taken out, and eventually Boba Fett arrives at the sort of like pilot area thing, and where it's piloted by a droid, but the droid leaves. Preventing Boba Fett to stopping the train easily unless he tries to figure out with the levers, and eventually tries to use his stick, and eventually stops the train with the remaining captured Pikes taken prisoner, and the Tuskens raiding the speeder for water supplies and all that stuff. Boba gives the Pike leader that's with them an offer that tell them that this is now Tusken's turf and the sand and deserts are Tusken's turf, and if they want to cross it, they have to do business with the Tuskens. Well, as he says, the Tuskens will take them back to the nearest spaceport so they can go tell the crime syndicates of Pike. After giving a very warning and what the leader and telling the leader to choose their words carefully. This is where the Tuskens begin to give Boba more of a begin to talk to Boba in silent as they talk about how there are many tribes of Tusken Raiders out there. They have to kill to survive. Though Boba tries to say that this planet should belong to you and all that stuff. Though he mentions how the off-worlders have more machines, where Boba Fett says you now have machines, given the fact they still have a few speed bikers, and not to mention some of the weapons and all that stuff they raided from the train. So the chieftain gives Boba Fett a sort of gift, which is sort of like lizard in a pouch thing that goes inside his head, giving him visions of like a tree to find, images of his time on Kamino, where his father's ships come flying back to, and he comes to greet it. And of course, the moment he picks up the helmet for when his father died and all that stuff. And we see that Boba Fett went to this tree thing, and then maybe Jar was there, or at least that's what I can tell, as he's taken the branch and come back to it. Where, let's see, the Tuskens give Boba Fett the black gi thing that he was wearing from when we first saw him reappear back in The Mandalorian Season 2, and him carving out his weapon, his Tusken weapon thing, as he's become accepted part of the tribe, and the episode ends with a dance ritual led by him and the female Tusken, and that is the end of the episode. First off, I do like how at the beginning of the episode, it's mostly focusing on like the stuff that's building up to the later plot lines of the overall story from like Boba Fett is trying to rule as a new daimyo of Tatooine and all that stuff, and Mos Espa, where he tricks like the assassin into thinking there's still a Rancor there to tell him that the mayor does it, and we finally meet the mayor, which reveals to be the Ithorian from the trailer. The mayor, denies. I find it interesting he denies any involvement. I'm not fully convinced that he's not involved with assassination, and I think Boba Fett still suspects. But he seems to be calculating and clearing up any evidence by having the assassin shot and trying to give off and trying to pretend that it's a bounty for his reward thing. And interesting how he gives Boba Fett some advice that just because you find that running a crime family is not that easy, as he gives a warning to like his supposed ally with the Gasa Fripp Gasa Fripp that might know something he doesn't, and so this leads to Boba to suspect her. And at first, she's panic stricken because Boba says like, "Oh my god," which Boba seems to think that she doesn't expect to see him at the moment and all that stuff. A little joke about something from Mustafar, of some expecting from some creature from Mustafar, but she reveals that. But it's not really. Just the fact that it's not really her hiring assassins to kill Boba, but of course, Jabba's twin cousins, which is interesting because we see a bit more. The Clone Wars, we got a bit more insight to like Jabba's family, revealing that he had a son and an uncle, and that uncle had a mother and all that stuff. But and they apparently are the next in line to inherit Jabba's turf and Tatooine and all that stuff. Though that does make me wonder what happened to Stinky the Hutt, if you will. Jabba's son. I've forgotten his actual name. Sorry. But yeah, so at some point that's got to be cleared up. But anyway. It's interesting that I thought the mayor was going to be the main antagonist to like Boba Fett for this season, but it may actually be these two Hutts. We also have the Black Wookiee, Black Kustan. Sorry if I the Black Furred Wookiee. Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. Who was like mostly an adversary for Chewbacca, I think, in the comics, for the Marvel comics and all that stuff. But has also worked with Boba Fett, so he might just be the muscle antagonist for Boba to fight. Now, let's see. Now, since he's like a comic creation character, he's mostly appeared in the comics, but this is like the first time I think we've seen a comic book character. I could be wrong, but at least the first one that most diehard Star Wars fans would recognize that appeared in the comics, but now is like appearing in the live action. So far, we've mostly had either book characters like that guy who had Boba Fett's armor from the books, and of course, Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan, cartoon characters that first appeared in cartoons and animation, like the Clone Wars, now in live action. So it really does show how all the different. It's a really nice way of seeing all the different multimedia Star Wars projects sort of becoming, connecting in a sense and becoming canon and all that stuff, though. Granted, most casual viewers probably won't know about this Wookiee's comic book history, but so just having one episode, just having him just appear just briefly there is just like a nice way to subtly introduce him and all that stuff. So that's that. But anyway, it's interesting to see two other Hutts. I think this is the first time the Hutt, I've seen a Hutts have a major role in Star Wars since like the Clone Wars and the original trilogy kind of thing. Well, there's also that one episode I think from Star Wars Resistance with that talking Hutt, but let's see. But this is like the first live action appearance and since the Phantom Menace, if you will. And of course, so they're now taking a role in the story with now them being, with these two cousins of Jabba becoming antagonists for Boba. And in many ways, they show kind of what Mos Espa was used to with the fear and respect thing, with like coming in on like paddles and all that stuff and being led to there. It's interesting how the brother seems the more calm one, and the patient one, while the sister's the more aggressive one. But it's clear that they're coming back to fight, to at least claim, Boba Fett's territory, if you will. But no, probably not directly. It'll probably be the Wookiee coming in, and possibly maybe even Cad Bane, because I do know that Cad Bane is apparently alleged to come in, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, with all that and done, the main focus of this episode has mostly been the flashback to like Boba Fett's time with the Tusken Raiders, and it seems like this episode did a perhaps maybe better job at first having all the crime lord stuff at the beginning of the episode, while the rest of the flashback of Boba Fett, or period between Return of the Jedi and Mandalorian Season 2, be like one whole thing and all that stuff, as we get to see Boba Fett train with the Tusken Raiders, particularly the female chieftain, who, at least the female warrior, I'm not sure has a name yet, but she's pretty badass. Granted, I've heard some people complain about her being a woke agenda, at least from what I've seen on Twitter, but I could be wrong on that. But either way, she's cool and training Boba, and managed to teach Boba a thing or two. But it's interesting that but they've been having trouble with like the Pike Syndicate, and we see one of their speed train things take them out and all that stuff, and we kind of see how the Tuskens are quite fierce against Wanderers and single people, but against more advanced machinery, they're not really that. They don't have the advantage and can be killed quite a bit. So Boba, having come to live amongst the tribe and come to respect them a bit, decides to help them out in stopping the speeder. And notice the Nika biker gang from last episode, so I'm glad that wasn't just just to see some random raiders just rubbing and pillaging. It's the same biker gang from last time, so Boba Fett decides, so they were built up for Boba Fett to steal their bikes and then give them to the Tusken Raiders and teach them how to use it. In a sense, teaching them, how to counter, the machinery, if you will, that off-worlders often have when against the disadvantage of the Tusken Raiders, and use it against them. And we get a very cool train speed chase fight thing and all that stuff. And where they had many Tuskens being precise shooters and hitting the pikes throughout the train windows. Some of them being shot off the bikes, and some of them trying to claw up, off the top of the windows with pikes pushing them off or shooting them. And Boba Fett trying to come in and helping them out, trying to pull off pikes and all that stuff. And then the chiefess, the female Tusken, jumping on one of the train sidecars things and taking out Pike members and gangs from the inside and all that stuff, as they were shooting from the sides of the windows and through hatchets and all that stuff. And there's even this sort of speed bit on the train that I think burns one of the Tuskens and then one of the Pikes. So that was a great action sequence. And eventually Boba Fett trying to use the wooden stick to stop it and all that stuff. And this is where Boba Fett helps the Tuskens with when stopping the train and allowing them to take all the weapons and foods and water supplies that they need and spice. And forces a sort of deal with the Pike leader or representative there to go tell the crime lords of of the Pikes back on the Kessel Moons and all that stuff, that if they want to travel here, they have to do a payment to the Tuskens, all that stuff. and shows that they're reasonable and has the Tuskens take them to the spaceport and give them like a melon of milk to drink and all that stuff. So that's now I know it's actual milk and all that stuff. And give their words to the Pike and all that stuff. Let's see. And give their words to the Pikes, which they seem to accept. And it's interesting that we see what the Pikes look like in live action without their mask helmets on in this episode, because let's see, we only saw like one sort of like Pike in Solo, but here they seem to have gotten a bit more. I think the budget they seem to have managed to figure out the special effects and makeup design has found how to make the Pikes look more realistic and a lot more better designed from what we saw in Solo. So there's that. It seems Lucasfilm really likes to use the Pikes and all that stuff for live action now these days. So we have that. So now the Pikes will have to now make deals with the Tuskens. It seems like Boba Fett, and it's interesting how Boba Fett is trying to get the Tuskens to use the modern day weaponry to help take back the Dune Seas of Tatooine and maybe even the planet, if you will. And helping the other learning how the other tribes just kill to survive and all that stuff. And he believes that they should probably own more of Tatooine. So I think this is building up to Boba Fett making an alliance with all the Tusken tribes to co-rule Tatooine. While they get all the deserts and all that sort of mass territory and all that stuff, while Boba Fett controls all the crime cities and all that stuff. A sort of symbiotic relationship, if you will. And due to the fact that he has this connection with the Tusken Raiders, I think that could probably work. So who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if we get more. If we see this tribe of Tuskens with Boba Fett trying to battle against the Hutt's forces when the time comes and all that stuff. So yeah. But anyway, I like how we're learning more of Tusken's cultures. That there seems to be this lizard thing that goes inside their head, gives them visions to find a tree to make their weapon staff. And then once someone has been accepted to a tribe or they've done a rite of passage, they get like the modern day cloak and a modern Tusken Raiders thing. And we see them dance in the ritual in the sunfire and all that stuff. So let's see. I do like how Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have showed a different side to the Tuskens, and where in the movies we've only seen them as like savage raiders and all that stuff who attack wanderers or trespassers, if you will. But here we see they're much more cultured and civilized tribes and all that stuff, just trying to survive and trying to get as many off-worlders as they can off their planet and all that stuff. So there's that. And it seems like with perhaps Boba Fett's help, who has become an honorary member of the tribe, they might just do that in the following few episodes. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't think we'll probably have at least one or two more episodes with more flashback stuff where Boba Fett eventually finds his armor and all that stuff. Which I do love how we got to see more Camino designs and scenes of like young Boba waiting for his father and all that stuff. So who knows? Perhaps maybe Boba Fett or perhaps maybe Tamara Morrison will play as Django in a flashback or not. But we'll have to wait and see. So yeah. I'm liking how they've tied in Attack of the Clones backstory with and the backstory of Boba's time with the between Episode 6 Return of the Jedi and Mandalorian Season 2, and setting up Boba's conflict with the Hutts. Overall, I think this is a 9.5 out of 10, maybe even a 10 episode. It's a much bigger improvement over the last one, which is what more people were expecting from the first episode. I know some people were a bit mixed on the last episode, but here I think this is probably, if people have stuck for more than just 2 episodes, I think it's stuck in from what I've heard. That seems to be the case, as the first episode was viewed by 1.7 million views in the first 5 days, compared to Hawkeye's 1.5. So goes to show you, despite the controversies you might get with Star Wars now and then, you still get people coming up to see the shows. But then again, of course, everyone's been waiting to see Boba Fett take the center stage in a Star Wars series or movie a long time. And it looks like for now, the Book of Boba Fett is starting to deliver it for many people. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm Blue Starsaber, signing off. May the Force be with you, and goodbye.